I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with this iconic work of art, but do you also know how it came about? When it was first put on public display, it was titled "The Scream of Nature," and this title gives a hint as to what it really depicts. I have already covered several paintings that explore the depths of human emotions. Very few painters, however, put such a high emphasis on their personal emotions as Norwegian artist Edvard Munch. When he completed this work in the 1890s, it gave birth to a new art movement known as Expressionism. That, along with its countless reproductions in popular media, ensured one of the versions was sold for $120 million in 2012. I say one of the versions because Munch created 5 different artworks featuring the same screaming figure. In this video, you'll learn everything you need to know about The Scream by Edvard Munch. You'll also discover why it's one of the best recognized artworks in the world, and why Munch was such an influential figure in art history. Edvard Munch was born on December 12, 1863 in the small village of Adalsbruk, a few hundred kilometers north of the Norwegian capital of Oslo. His family moved to Christiania, the name of Oslo at the time, when Edvard was just 1 year old. Things went downhill when his mother died in 1868, and he was raised by his deeply religious and mentally unstable father. His childhood played a major role in his artistic development, as it was plagued by disease and a chronic sense of fear. This fear was developed because his sister Laura Catherine suffered from severe mental problems, and she had to be hospitalized in a mental institution. At the time, there was a strong belief that mental problems were inherited, and Edvard definitely thought he would end up like his younger sister. The scary stories written by Edgar Allan Poe, which his father graphically told his children at night, definitely didn't help. Edvard was often sick as a child, and during the extended periods he stayed home from school, he started drawing and painting. By the time he was a teenager, art was all he was interested in, and this led him to the path of Hans Jaeger, a Norwegian writer and philosopher. The nihilist and anarchist views of Jaeger laid the foundation of the art Munch eventually ended up producing. He led a bohemian lifestyle as a young man and often traveled abroad. During a trip to Paris, he discovered Impressionism, and especially the paintings of Vincent van Gogh and Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec influenced him a lot. He also liked the distinctive nature of Paul Gauguin's paintings, especially the way he used colors. When his father died in 1891, it led to one of the many episodes of mental instability. Luckily, art was his way to express his deepest feelings. He moved to Berlin and hung out with fellow artists. It's there that he developed his own synthetic style, but it wasn't really appreciated by art critics. The paintings that were displayed at his first solo exhibition in Berlin were described as a travesty of art. What's fascinating is that Edvard Munch wasn't fazed at all by the negative criticism. He actually liked it, and it inspired him to focus more on painting his personal feelings. This was contrary to what Impressionists had been doing for decades, and in sheer contrast to academic art. During this hectic period in Munch's life, in the early 1890s, he completed the first version of his most famous work titled The Scream, but more about this in a minute. Munch moved to Paris in 1896, but he continued to receive a rather unwelcome response from art critics, who still didn't seem to comprehend the Norwegian painter's motives. It wasn't until 1902 that he started getting positive press coverage, especially after a successful exhibition at the Hall of the Berlin Secession movement. Munch perfectly blended in with this anti-establishment movement, and he started attracting rich patrons. He once wrote about this pivotal moment in his career, saying that, "After 20 years of struggle, a bright door finally opened up for me." His success came with a downside though, because he started indulging in heavy drinking sessions with his bohemian buddies. The art he produced during this period emphasizes the pessimistic outlook he had on life at the time. By 1908, he had a mental breakdown and suffered from severe hallucinations and an extreme feeling of anxiety. Unlike his idol Vincent van Gogh, who committed suicide because of a similar condition, his treatment seemed to work. The paintings he completed following his treatment were a lot brighter and featured vivid colors, the symbol of his miraculous recovery. The final decades of his life were extremely sober, as he always felt the next mental breakdown looming around the corner. He barely left his estate in Ekkeli, a place in Skøyen, a suburb of Oslo. When he did, it was to paint murals in some of the city's buildings. When he died in 1944, at the age of 80, he left behind a legacy of 1,789 paintings. 1,006 of these were still in his possession. Together with about 4,500 drawings and over 18,000 prints, these were donated to the city of Oslo. The first Munch Museum opened in 1963, but was replaced with an incredible new museum which opened in 2021. Yes, Edvard Munch was definitely the most successful Norwegian artist in history. So now let's take a closer look at thescream, the best known work in his extensive oeuvre. The inspiration for this famed painting came when Munch went out for a walk during sunset in his native Oslo. He was together with two of his friends and recalled in his diary that the sky suddenly turned blood red and nature started screaming at him. He further went on to describe the tongues of fire that he saw appearing above the fjord that overlooks the city. It's likely that Munch suffered from a mental breakdown at that very moment, likely triggered by the nearby mental asylum where his sister stayed at the time. The location depicted in thescream has been identified as the Ekeberg, a hill located just southeast of the city center. The red clouds might have been a natural phenomenon known as polar stratospheric clouds, which are quite beautiful actually. Many suggestions have been made as to what inspired the peculiar screaming figure in the painting. In my opinion, the most likely explanation is that Munch had seen a Peruvian mummy at the 1889 Universal Exposition in Paris. This event took place just a few years before Munch completed the first version in 1893, so it was still fresh in his memory. The resemblance between the figure that Munch painted and the way the Peruvian mummy holds its hands alongside its face can be a coincidence. Edvard Munch made 2 oil and tempera paintings and 2 pastel and crayon drawings of thescream. He also made a lithograph stone of the original version in 1895. And about 4 dozen prints were made with it before it was destroyed. About 17 years after the original version, he made the final version in 1910. Only the 1895 pastel on cardboard drawing is in a private collection, as it was sold for nearly $120 million in 2012. That's a pretty hefty price tag for a pastel drawing, don't you think? Although it's quite hard to put a price tag on an artwork, it does always highlight the significance of it. The fact that there are several other versions of thescream makes it even more remarkable that somebody was willing to pay that much. Apart from the countless inspirations in popular media, this work of art serves as the ultimate symbol of human anxiety. When it comes to its artistic significance, it was the most profound expression of personal feelings ever made by an artist at that point. This not only makes it one of Edvard Munch's most acclaimed works, but it also permanently changed the course of art history.